So let's continue on and see what Swami Vivekananda has said. He's written extensively on what the scriptures say and mean. He writes in the complete works of Swami Vivekananda. Let me give it to you again. The Complete Works of Swami Vivekananda, Volume 3, page 174. Again, Volume 3, 174. Let's make sure there's no mistake here. There was a time when a Brahmin, in other words, the highest class of Indians, this is not what you claim are the low class of Indians, a Brahmin, the priests, the highest class of Hindu that there is, without eating beef, without eating beef, not tofu, not beans, beef, could not remain a Brahmin. Let's do this one more time. There was a time when a Brahmin without eating beef could not remain a Brahmin. Are you catching the import of that? And on page 536, you will be astonished if I tell you that according to the old ceremonials, he is not a good Hindu, not a good Hindu who does not eat beef. Oh my God. You mean I'm a good Hindu? Well, according to the Golden Age of India, I'm a very good Hindu. You, my sir, are lacking. Okay? Have I done my research? Yes. Do you know what you're talking about? No. You want to follow the popular party line. Vegetarianism, my dear, only came into fashion within the last couple hundred years. But as far as the Golden Age of India, the Golden Age of Hinduism, the Golden Age of the Rishis, this is what was in place. You could not be a good Brahmin without eating beef. Not possible. Not possible. Okay? It says, even on certain occasions he must sacrifice a bull and eat it. Well, I think they'd have a bit of a problem if I were sacrificing bulls out in the condo parking lot. Go figure. But yes, I do eat beef. And I'll get a little bit more into the intricacies of what a Brahmin was. And the day when they were actually still Brahmins, not by birth, but by consciousness. Because now it's become a birthright. It didn't used to be a birthright. That again has changed along the way, but it was not what was there then. Okay. So let's go on. Rig Veda 10:86:14. 15 in number, then, for me a score of bullocks they prepare, and I devour the fat thereof. They fill my belly full with food. Supreme is Indra over all. Rig Veda 8:43:11. Let us serve Agni with our hymns. Agni is the fire. Disposer, that which consumes. Fed on ox and cow, who bears the soma on his back. What is the soma? That bliss. That juice of bliss. How does it come? On the back by Kundalini. What do the Brahmins wear? I'll let you in on a little secret. The threefold cord. Do you know what it represents? Obviously not. It represents the Kundalini, the 3 channels of the Kundalini. And this is why they ate beef, and why they had to eat beef if they were a good Brahmin. Because they were to awaken the Kundalini. I'm not talking about Brahmins now. The ones that you meet on the banks of the Ganges that are going to do ceremonies for you. A Brahmin is supposed to be a knower of Brahman, a realized being. That is a Brahmin. You don't know anything about the history of Hinduism. So let Sharon sit here and school you a little bit about the history and what a Brahmin actually was, a knower of Brahman. A knower of a Brahman is a realized being. Realization only happens when the Kundalini has been awakened, the 3-chord, full chord, which all the young Brahmins learn, the Gayatri mantra, Om Bhurbhuvaswaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. They all learn that. They pray in the beginning for light, enlightenment, for wisdom. They are to go in the Ganges every morning. The Ganges, or Ma Ganga, is supposed to represent that rebirth into enlightenment, that death and rebirth. No, you know nothing about the old. You know nothing about the tradition. You know nothing about the history, and yet you want to come here and attempt to school me by saying there are so many vegetarian magazines out now. Great, there are a lot of porno magazines out now too. Well, what's that have to do with anything? I am going to continue to teach this path in the way that I know works. Why? Because I have spent lifetimes in gaining the knowledge that's here. 40 plus years in this lifetime of having Kundalini awakening and going through all that it takes to get to the end of that. The years I spent in India, the knowledge I have, which I'm not going to give you. I know a lot more knowledge than you know about how the statues in the temples are enlivened, how they are kept charged, how that happens, what's needed. You know nothing but a few things you've read. You've read some Vivekananda, you've read some nice, you're scratching barely the surface and want to tell me what an expert you are on things. Please. There's a lot more knowledge which I am not going to give out. It's not for public consumption, but I will aid you and school you in that, what a Brahmin was. It was not by birth at that point in time. At that point in time, all of the classes and castes were given by their aptitudes and what would best serve them in their life, their proclivities, where their consciousness was at. Now it's by birth. There are very, very few genuine Brahmins left. Very, very few genuine Brahmins left. Yes, I said that. Now I'll get a ration of shit from that too, but that's the truth of it. Very few Brahmins. And those that are Sudras, etc., outcasts, are now by birth. Didn't used to be that way. The Shudras, etc., didn't used to be that way. Okay. There's a lot more knowledge out there as to, tantric practices, etc., etc., which, yes, I understand, I know. So I'm going to say, people, before you jump on this bandwagon and start trying to beat some drum and trying to school here, first you should know a little bit about what you're trying to speak of. And if you don't know, then your best thing would be, okay? Because these mysteries and these things don't come by reading books. It takes by walking the hard path. It takes lifetimes of effort to get to the mysteries where they are opened. Whether it's the mysteries of the Bible or whether it's the mysteries of, Kundalini and Hinduism, etc., doesn't matter what it is. It takes lifetimes of work, of dedication, of surrender, of laying yourself down before God and facing whatever comes. Okay? I have no problem with people questioning things. I have no problem with vegetarianism. Knock yourself out. But I got news for you. The Dalai Lama is not a vegetarian. He's supposed to be an incarnation of the compassionate Buddha. You would think he would have learned to be a vegetarian by now, but he's not. Okay? Neither are most of the Tibetans, not vegetarians. Okay? Hate to be the bearer of bad tidings. Neither was Christ, not a vegetarian. Maybe you should go school him as well. Let me know how that works for you. And again, if you had done the path, if you had deconstructed or done bhakti and merged into that infinite and the heart of Krishna or the heart of Kali or the heart wherever, it doesn't matter which manifestation, or deconstructed through Gyan into that infinite, it's the same end point. Which is that point of eternality that remains and runs like a thread through all religious persuasions, yet is not owned or caught by any of them. You would know the reasons for karma, why it is, why it holds steady, why it holds true. You would know that there is no death, that only the forms, the body forms come and go, but consciousness is eternal. And you'd find better things to do with your time than trying to hang spiritual teachers out to dry, because you have very little knowledge and are just starting a path, and yet want to think you've got the whole of it. Okay? Any spiritual teacher that's worth their salt knows that they are under more obligation than anybody else. And they are judged more harshly than anyone else. On the other side, what's judged is the hearts and the minds. That's what's judged. And you, sir, are not the judge, jury, or God. No matter how much you want to think you are. You're not. Okay? And so, come hell or high water, I will continue to give out the truth. I will continue to give this path. I will continue to honor commitments I made to the universe, to give the best that I can give, and continue to work with those that have Kundalini awakenings to aid them to keep from madness or death by giving what will benefit them, no matter how unpopular that is. Okay? So you can try to hang me out to dry all you want to, string me up, beat me, I don't care, call me Sharon, be as disrespectful as you want to be. But I've done my homework. I know what was in the Golden Age. I know what's here now. I know how Kundalini works, how it doesn't work. I know the traditions, why they're in place and why they give what they give. And you do, as a spiritual teacher, you do the best to aid society where you are at that moment in time. And I will continue to do that. Okay? So enjoy your life. And for all the vegetarians out there, good luck with that. You know, enjoy that. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. I have no problem with it. Have no problem with it. But again, don't think because that's your belief system that it's the only thing on the planet and that you're right and everybody else is wrong, and you're going to crucify everybody that doesn't believe like you believe, because you've only barely scratched the surface. So on that note, I'm going to close this out. Namaste.